All right, so let's dive into figuring out how to find these kind kids so that we can build those relationships up with our kids. We can help them find these meaningful, powerful friendships. So we know it's important that who they spend the most time with needs to be kids who are going to be influencing them to be kinder. It's going to shape who they are, how they speak, how they interact, what they talk about. It's going to make a difference. So a couple of things that we've done in the past to generate these stronger friendships. When my eldest was younger, she really struggled to make friends, and we started something in my head that I called Operation Playdate. Now she's older, it's kind of Operation Hangout. We actively schedule playdates and times. Now that she's older, we call them hangouts, time to spend with friends. I say yes as often as I can. And I'm intentional about setting those, calling up other moms or texting them saying, hey, let's get together, let's get our kids together. You know, the day-to-day, the week, it's crazy. By the time you look up, it's like, okay, it's Thursday, now we're done, it's Friday, you wanna just kind of chill at home. You're running to soccer and to karate, and you're going in 20 directions, and playdates can often get missed. Making the time to have those connections so our kids can interact with other kids. So inviting kids over to your house. Be the house that the kids want to come and play at. You know, get the stuff in the backyard, the toys that they want. Get 2 of everything. Get 2 skateboards and 2 helmets and just keep them at your house. Get 2 hula hoops, 2 jump ropes. Whatever your kids are into, get multiples of those things if you can, so your kids can play those things with their friends. You know, take them to the park so they've got the basketball hoop or the swings, whatever they're into. Create that space where kids want to come, they want to kind of hang out. And then when they're here, this is where it can get really, really powerful for parents. We have to audit our kids' interactions with these other kids that we've invited over. So it's our time to kind of listen and watch and kind of see who's the follower, who's the leader. Is somebody encouraging reckless or unsafe or unkind behaviors or thoughtless behaviors? Is one peer pressuring the other to do something that's really not so safe or so awesome? You know, which kids that you have over, who's going to be an ally, who's going to stand up for your kids and stand with your kids if they need them. And when you're watching these interactions, and you're not eavesdropping and you're not spying on them, but you're watching, we're paying attention as parents, intentionally paying attention. We need to know who the kind kids are, who the kids are that are going to make these incredible relationships for our kids. And if it's not going to work out between our kids, that's okay. Our kids don't have to be friends with everyone. We've had playdates that are kind of a one and done kind of situation where our kids got together and it didn't really jive. They didn't have similar interests. They were kind of bickering through the playdate. That's not the makings of a great friendship, and that's okay. But until you have enough of these, then you can kind of guide your kids to figure out which kids they should invite over. So if you're not sure which kids to invite over at all, you have no way to connect, there's a couple things you can do. One of my easiest tricks is to volunteer as much as you can. And I know that can be tricky for working mamas and dads, but if you can volunteer in their classroom or after school, on a sports team, be a coach or an assistant coach, or volunteer to help out at practice, or be at the Girl Scout meeting, or go to a Girl Scout event, or just volunteer in any capacity, you're gonna start to see how the kids interact with each other. You're gonna pay attention to which kids you think would be an awesome fit for your kid. Invite those kids over. Ask them on, reach out, go up and introduce yourself, even if it's scary. I'm an introvert, so it's super intimidating for me to sometimes approach other parents. But in the name of my kids' friendship and their ability to have strong friendships, I do this. Hi, and I introduce myself. It looks like our kids really, really interact really well together. We'd love to have so-and-so over for a play date. Invite them over. The other really, really great way to do this is to ask their teacher. Teachers always know who the kind kids are. We always do. I have many times asked my kids' teachers, hey, listen, my kid is struggling to find quality friendships. Who are the kids that I should be reaching out to that would be a good fit for my child? Who are the really kind kids that I should be connecting with their parents to like get our kids together? They always tell me, they always know, they'll always tell you who the kind kids are. Oh, they should totally play out with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And those are the play dates that I book. We're also building out different social circles, and this is really important, especially if you're worried that your kid is being bullied or having bullying behaviors done towards them in any social situation. Getting them friends in different social circles is really empowering for them for so many reasons. So get them into Scouts, get them into religious school, get them onto the sports team, or try out a new class at your park and rec district. Figure out the neighborhood friends and introduce them if they don't already know who those kids are. Get them different social circles and find different types of kids in different situations that they can relate to. Because listen, we can't tell our kids who they can be friends with and who they can't. I remember my mom, when I was very young, I had a friend that she didn't really like, and she let me know that she didn't really like this kid. But she's like, listen, I'm not going to tell you can't be friends with them. I will tell you they're not invited over to my home. They can't come here. I don't like how they talk to you. I don't like how they treat me. They're not welcome in my home. But she said I could still be friends with her. If we say you can't be friends with so-and-so, our kids are going to dig their heels in. They're going to find ways to spend time with this child. So if we're open and honest with them and say, listen, I don't think that this kid is the type of kid who's going to be a good friend to you. Or I have conversations with my son very often. This child makes you feel X, Y, and Z. He's done this to you, he's done this to you, he's done this to you, and you've told me that that doesn't feel good. So one thing you can do is you can stay away. Go play with this person. And it's very hard because he keeps being drawn to this kid who's just mean to him. But we keep reminding, we keep having the same conversations, repetitively, consistently. Go play over here. Go play with these kids. Go, and we have play dates with this kid and this kid and this kid, because these are the kind kids. So we can guide them away from the negative relationships or the ones that maybe aren't, lifting them up or making them better people, and guide them more towards hanging out with these kids. Let's spend more time with these kids. So I say no to play dates with the kids that I know are unkind. I don't invite them over to my house. If we get invited, oh, thank you so much for the invite. We can't make it. It's just the way that it goes. Now, there's sometimes when you can't do that. Sometimes it's a cousin. Sometimes it's a neighbor and they're right next door. I get that it can be super tricky. But again, it's just these conversations. And I remind my kids, we don't need to tell this other child you're not going to be friends with them. We're just going to do it by spending time with kinder people. We're going to spend time with kids who are compassionate and empathetic and help you and stand up for you. We're going to spend more time with those kids. And so I challenge my kids as they're getting out the door. Who are you going to play with today? Who are you going to sit with today? We're not going to sit with these kids. Go sit with somebody on this side. Go sit with a kid who is going to want to be with you, who likes you for you, who doesn't make you do things that don't feel good, because those are not good friends. So we're guiding them, we're pushing them this way, and it comes through conversation, reading books about friendship, but finding those kind kids. Ask your child's teacher, figure out who you want to have over to your house and who you don't want to have over to your house, and then talk about it with your kids. Say, we're going to invite these kids over. We're going to have play dates with these kids. We're going to hang out with these kids, because they are solid kids who are going to make really great friendships with you, because they have similar values to us. They value the same things. They are kind, they're empathetic, they're compassionate, they're helpful. So we can guide our kids to this. All right, the next module, we're going to talk about peer pressure, the good and the not so good parts of peer pressure. I'll see you in there.